Moses was probably autistic. RFK's statement to the Congressional Committee was flat wrong, discriminatory, and sets back the progress that the autistic community has made over the last several years. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor, and my mom was a special education teacher. Here's the direct quote from RFK. He said that autistic people, quote, will never pay taxes, will never hold jobs, will never play baseball. Let's just start with taxes and jobs. And don't worry, we're definitely going to talk about Moses. Now, we need to remember and maybe remind RFK that autism is a spectrum and it expresses itself in a lot of different ways in people's lives. One of the most well-known autistic people is a guy named Elon Musk. He said he was diagnosed with autism on Saturday Night Live. You can actually go and watch him say it yourself. Now, he has a lot of jobs. See, he recently held a really high-level job where he was really tasked with destroying the United States government. But taxes is interesting. I mean, in some ways, RFK was right. In 2018, he paid zero taxes, except for the fact that in 2021, he paid $11 billion in taxes. Then you have Temple Grandin, and Temple Grandin is a well-known figure in the autistic community, an advocate for people who have autism. She is a professor and an author and a normal person who probably could never get to a place where she pays zero taxes like Elon Musk, but since she's a private citizen, her taxes have never been publicly revealed. And I'm not really interested in sports myself, but there is a guy named Tariq El Abor who is famously known as the first person with autism to sign a professional baseball contract. But I'm a pastor, so let's talk about Moses. Rabbi Ellie Shane and Rabbi Liz Fisher have suggested that Moses seems to exhibit traits of autism, which would explain a whole lot of how he exists in the story, right? He has problem with speech. He is sort of hyperfixated on things. He has a number of traits of autism, and you can look up their work. I am not that kind of a scholar, so I'm not qualified to tell you all the details, but when I read it, I say, yeah, actually, that seems about right. Because people with autism have been around for forever. It's part of being human. And it's not surprising that that people with autism show up in the Bible, because they actually show up all over the place. And I have a personal connection to this. I don't have autism, but my mom was a special education teacher. And so that means that for my whole life, I was around people with all sorts of different abilities, all sorts of different neurodivergent experiences, and had many people that I deeply cared about, friends who had autism that were related to my mom's work. And then moving to Silicon Valley, there are a lot of autistic people that are incredibly successful there. And when I hear this kind of stuff, it's not just wrong. It's not just spreading lies and misinformation. It's hurting people. Like hurting people that I know. Making it easier for people to treat them as less than human, to treat them with contempt, and to act like there's something deeply wrong with them. When, in fact, most of them, their autistic traits actually enable them to do things that other people just can't do. So whether you think that autism is a disability or a superpower or somewhere in between, I think the solution to all of this is to look at the Jesus story. Jesus encountered people with all sorts of mental states and abilities and physical states and abilities. And you know what he did? He treated every single one of them as a full human being, and he pushed to heal them and to help put them back into society, pressured society to bring them back into the center when they had been pushed to the fringes. And so I guess what I'm saying is it's time for leaders to stop spreading lies and misinformation that justify discrimination and hate, and instead, I don't know, maybe be like Jesus, treat people like humans, and try to help their lives be better.